The shocking scenes from the nation's capital on Wednesday have reverberated around the world. The US Capitol building, representing American democracy itself, was breached by a violent mob, causing the House and Senate to be placed under emergency lockdown. Many Americans are struggling to process the events that just took place, and for many, the role of a leader has come under great scrutiny. The President of the United States has repeatedly contested the election results, and he himself addressed the crowds in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday afternoon, urging them to make their demands heard at the Capitol building.
I can only think of 2 times in American history that individuals laid siege to our Capitol, stormed our sacred civic spaces, and tried to upend and overrun this government. One was in the War of 1812, and the other one was today.
The violence, the lawlessness, and siege of the halls of Congress are abhorrent and stand as a direct attack on the very institution my objection was intended to protect, the sanctity of the American democratic process.
And when it's over, it is over. It is over. The final thing, Joe Biden, I've traveled the world with Joe. I hoped he lost. I prayed he would lose. He won. He's the legitimate president of the United States.
Americans from every level of society came out to condemn the violence, but for many, the words of the president did not go far enough.
This was a fraudulent election, but we can't play into the hands of these people. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. You've seen what happens. You see the way others are treated that are so bad and so evil. I know how you feel, but go home and go home in peace.
The role of a leader is to uphold justice, not to incite violence or antagonize, or in this case, as the president did, praise people who committed acts of terrorism. That lack of justice is detrimental to the entire country and to the entire world.
The head of the worldwide Ahmadiyya Muslim community, Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, may Allah be his helper, has repeatedly called upon world leaders to act with justice and reminded all nations that the pathway to lasting peace is to first recognize our common creator and our rights owed to mankind. His Holiness specifically mentioned the threat of civil war breaking out in America during a televised interview in 2016.
And if he tried to implement whatever he is saying, then I fear that there's going to be a big civil war.
Civil war?
Yes, of course they will raise against the government, because now if government takes harsh measures just to try to deny all their rights in any way, there are so many hundreds of people even see to create any disturbance or nonsense. If single man can single-handedly do it. He enters somebody inside the house or parliament or anywhere in the market and do something.
I think that's a very accurate statement, and I think that a lot of the civil unrest that we're going to see, we saw that it started in 2020. I suspect that we'll have a lot more civil unrest and a lot of deaths as a result of it. So I do concur.
What are your thoughts on the possibility of a civil war or a world war in the near future?
That could very well happen, considering the situation.
They're all geared up to start a World War III, so it's all in the plan, it's planned. It's not going to get better. Biden is not going to make it any better, it's just going to get worse. Everybody want to blame Trump this, Trump that, but it's more than that, it goes a little bit beyond that.
Now, at the time when His Holiness made this pronouncement, there were some who said that was far-fetched or that was an exaggeration. But looking closely at the past 4 years, yesterday was a culmination of what were deep anxieties that ultimately led to this violence.
And we need to heed
what Khalifatul Masih had been saying all along. Only true justice will lead to peace and order in this world.
Few could have imagined being on the brink of civil war in 2016, but here we are in 2021, having witnessed just how fragile our democracy really is. As we look to the presidential inauguration ceremony set to be held on January 20th, we hope and pray that the perpetrators of these shocking events are brought to justice and that our nation's democracy can heal for the benefit of all members of American society.
खुशियाँ उस वक्त होंगी जब इंसानियत इंसानी कदरों को पहचानने वाली बनेगी, जब आपस की नफ़रतें मोहब्बतों में बदल जाएंगी। अल्लाह ताला इस खुशी के सामान भी हमें जल्द पहुँचाए।